Good morning from Radio Free America. Attention, patriots. John has a big mustache. Let me repeat. John has a big mustache. Okay. In all seriousness, that's about how crazy this is getting at this point. I titled this one Going Nuclear for a good reason, because there's a whole lot of nuclear talk lately, all right? So, yes, it's 3:45 in the morning. I need some coffee. First sip right there. Well, we have some information that came out late last night over the raid on Mar-a-Lago. Apparently, and this is funny, Merrick Garland. Remember this guy? I want to remind everybody about Merrick Garland. Obama appointed him to be a Supreme Court justice. Mitch McConnell and the rest of the Republicans decided to not have hearings on him, all right? Turns out that was probably a good thing, because this guy's a Fruit Loop. Merrick Garland came out yesterday afternoon and said the only way he was going to discuss anything on the raid of Mar-a-Lago, and yes, I'm going to use the word raid, even though the mainstream media is now saying the execution of a search warrant, it was a freaking raid, all right? Said the only way he was going to talk about it was through court documents. Miraculously, about 4 hours later, there's a leak from the Department of Justice to the Washington Post, that Jeff Bezos owned liberal rag. Apparently, get this is hilarious, and I'll explain why it's so funny. The FBI was tasked to go into Mar-a-Lago with a warrant to search Trump's office, Trump's bedroom, and a storage room that they have previously looked at and told Trump to put a padlock on for nuclear secrets that they thought he had, because somebody was in fear that he was going to sell them to Putin. Yes, guys, Russia has not gone away. The Democrats still believe that Trump is colluding with Russia, even though it's been debunked 9 ways from Sunday. So, Trump, last night, a little after midnight, I guess it was, thereabouts. Remember, this is the guy that sleeps 4 hours a night, and I'm beginning to understand what his life is like. Put out a comment on his competitor for Twitter, Truth Social. Right here. Not only will I oppose the release of documents related to the un-American, unwarranted, and unnecessary raid on the break-in of my home in Palm Beach, Florida, Mar-a-Lago, I'm going to take a step further by encouraging the immediate release of these documents, even though they've been drawn up by radical left Democrats and possibly future opponents who may have a strong and powerful vested interest in attacking me as much as they've done for the last 6 years. Now, I want to give you this, just so you have a little bit of background on this. When they came to search Mar-a-Lago, they had a sealed warrant, which meant they had to tell everybody there that they had a warrant, but didn't have to show it to anybody. Okay, that's a little weird. When they got there, the FBI agents, they asked everybody to leave the premises so nobody could watch what they were doing. When Trump's lawyers got there, the FBI refused to talk to his lawyers, refused to show them the warrants, and refused them access to the house. So they had to give the FBI unfettered access to Trump's house. Now, like I said, the warrant covered bedroom, office, and storeroom. Now, you've probably already seen the stories of them digging through Melania Trump's underwear drawer. It tells you what kind of dirt bags we have in the FBI. But the funny one was they wanted to go after this storeroom, okay, and had somebody cut off the lock that was on the storeroom that they told him to put on in the first place, okay? Now, I want you to think about this for a second. They have been there. They have looked at the property. They have told him to put a lock on it. They have gone through all the documentation they have. They knew what was in the storeroom and said, put a lock on this. And then somebody came up with the brilliant idea and go, oh, you know what? All that stuff we looked at, there's nuclear secrets in there. That's why we told them to put the lock on. We need to get those nuclear secrets back. Who in their right mind believes this crap? Okay? But this is how desperate the Democrats are to prevent Trump from running in 2024. They are trying to do anything and everything they can to find some legal loophole, i.e. planting evidence probably, to keep him from running, whether it's under constitutional law or some other, laws or whatever it is. They know he will not only, see, this is the thing. Obviously, they don't want any Republican to win, but they know Trump will come in and destroy everything that they've done in the year and a half so far of the Biden administration's attempt to destroy America. And they can't have that. Any of the establishment Republicans, hey, if they win, okay, fine. They got no problem for it. Why do you think they're so pro-Liz Cheney or something like that? Because she's right on board with all of this crap. Trump ain't coming. So, that's that part. But if we want to go further into the going nuclear issue, yesterday, and it's funny because I had recorded a video for this that I was going to drop yesterday afternoon. I finished the whole thing. I put it up on YouTube. I always go watch the video first. And of course, the audio didn't record. Wonderful. Okay. So needless to say, I wasn't going to do it again. I had to start doing other stuff. You guys are familiar with the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant in southern Ukraine, correct? The Russians have controlled it since March. Now, I'm going to give you this again, because I know there's always somebody going, your wife is Russian, therefore you're a Russian sympathizer. No, I don't have a dog in this fight, okay? We got nothing to do with Russia-Ukraine, okay? The only thing we're doing in Russia-Ukraine is pissing away money. God help him if he starts pissing away American lives. But the Russians have controlled the nuclear power plant for the last, 4 months now? 5 months? Okay. Yesterday, there were 2 artillery shelling attempts on the power plant itself. Now, to give you this, Zaporozhye is the largest nuclear power plant in Europe. There are 6 reactors there with over 60,000 tons of radioactive material. Let's give you that idea. So, sounds like a really good idea to hit it with artillery shells, doesn't it? Now, granted, a nuclear power plant is pretty strong. But pounded, it doesn't take much. One crack, guys, and that's it. And the whole thing crumbles, all right? They are extremely strong, but they are also extremely vulnerable. And that's why there is so many tests and tests and tests. You go back to Chernobyl and what happened in Chernobyl, and don't tell me that the U.S. bombed this crap, okay? If you believe that stuff, go to your Q channel and get the hell out of here. That was a failure of maintenance on the plant and trying to push it to its limits or past its limits, and it failed. Well, we're talking about a much larger nuclear power plant. So, the Russians control this, and there's artillery shelling going on it. And the U.S. mainstream media, and I'll show you an article, link it below right here, where MSN is saying that the Russians are trying to bomb a nuclear power plant that they control, that they have people there. How stupid do they think we are? I'm going to give you this. Artillery shells, okay? Nice little arced trajectory for those things. If we can use a satellite to pinpoint a drone's missile to hit a porch that pronounce his name, Al-Zawahiri, okay, was sitting on to hit him with this Ginsu missile or whatever the hell it was. If we can do that and see all that from a satellite, I'm certain we can see the trajectory of artillery shells. I'm betting $1 to a donut that it wasn't the Russians who were bombing this. It was Ukraine. Okay? I am not a fan of Zelensky. I think we were all snowed. I mean, I've never been a fan of Zelensky. I've said that from the beginning. I think the guy's a dirtbag. But the U.S. keeps pushing money into Ukraine. Why? Oh, I don't know. Maybe there's a little bit of quid pro Joe in there. All Hunter's dealings in Ukraine. It's amazing how he finds the most corrupt countries in the world, and that's where he does business. But that's another story for another day. But so the Ukrainians are the ones that are bombing the power plants, which could cause a nuclear disaster worse than Chernobyl. Now, everybody says if something happens, the people in the United States don't have to worry. And my comment is, tell that to the people in California who were told the same thing after Fukushima. Just saying, all right? But plenty of you guys that live in Europe, But if you think that the destruction of a nuclear power plant, another nuclear disaster in Europe, is no big deal because, hey, I just live far away. Tell me this, what's happened to the economy because of Russian gas? I don't know. Or Ukrainian wheat? I don't know. Now let's talk about a nuclear meltdown in Europe. Okay? But can you see starting to tie this together? The deflection of Democrats. The ones we're supporting are trying to bomb a nuclear facility. But our media is going to say it's the other side doing it. But then what we're going to say is our opposition, i.e. Trump, is selling nuclear secrets to Russia. And Russia is going to use those nuclear secrets to bomb this. I mean, the deflection is unbelievable here about how they're trying to wrap this all up into a nice, neat little ball. So when Ukraine and Biden, actually hit this nuclear power plant and it goes, they're going to go, oh, it was the Russians, and oh, the Russians did it with the intelligence they got from Trump on how to do it. Yeah, it's called putting the puzzle pieces together. I want to see these documents. Trump is dead right to call them to the mat, because heads need to roll. Okay, the Republicans in Congress need to get a set of balls and do something besides call these people to testify in front of Congress or whatever. The governors of states, the sheriffs, the whatever. Obviously, the FBI is corrupt. Obviously, the Biden administration is corrupt. Okay, so We need to go outside those administrations and use other authorities we have. I'm sorry, Merrick Garland steps out of Washington, D.C., and he's somewhere in Maryland, he's somewhere in Virginia. Okay, I'm betting not everybody is a liberal there. Arrest the son of a bitch and don't let him go. Period. Okay? Let's start fighting fire with fire. I mean, for the past God knows how many years, the war in Washington has been between Democrats with a howitzer and Republicans with a squirt gun. Okay? It's about time we start fighting on even ground. If they're going to do all this shit and accuse and try to spin this, I mean, come on, 0% inflation. Again, stop some of this stuff. And as much as I'm praying to God that the election flips everything, with what's going on, we still got 90 days till that election, guys. Let something happen like this nuclear power plant and let there be martial law. Guess what? Election's canceled. Okay. I know. I'm not trying to go out conspiracy theory stuff. This is kind of all new. But the whole Trump thing, that's right in our face. And he's got the balls to stand up and call them out for what they're doing and hold their feet to the fire and say, all right, you grabbed a whole bunch of documents, show them. Because I know Trump knows what was in there, right? He's going to know what was missing in his house. And when they say, well, here's it, that wasn't there, okay, and that's a he said, she said. But then when they say, and that's everything, and he goes, really? Would you care to show the lingerie calendar that Melania had in her drawer that she was trying to pick stuff out from? Or, was some guy sitting in his cubicle in Washington, D.C., pleasuring himself. We'll leave it that way to it, okay? That's what's going on. So, pay close attention to what's going on with Trump. But guys, start opening your eyes to Ukraine. Nobody's talked about this in a while. I haven't either, so I'm just as guilty, but I do pay attention to it. Keep an eye on what's going on over there, because you know damn well Joe's in cahoots with Zelensky, and something dirty is going to happen, because there ain't nothing clean that comes out of the Biden administration, and it's going to somehow screw us all, and we need to be ready for it. Pinball out.